full presentation. And this one, folks, this one has SHTF written all over it. You betcha. Oh, yeah, you betcha. Let's start with Kyle Rittenhouse. He is the poster child for self-protection, self-preservation, protecting neighbors, protecting businesses, protecting property, protecting a city, right, from thuggish criminal behavior, especially when there are no police around. Now, this is absolutely fascinating, folks. You and I, we've talked about this for years. What happens in extreme rule of law? Well, extreme rule of law is being applied to people who are conservatives and protesters. They are hunted down and arrested. And there is no amount of government resources that can't be spent to find little old ladies who supposedly illegally paraded in the Capitol on January 6th. Now, then there's the without rule of law, WROL, without the rule of law. And folks, we talked about this literally 7 and 8 years ago on the Prepared Mind channel. You bet. That long ago, folks. It was that long ago. And here we are. It's playing out right now. Without the rule of law, meaning the cops aren't able, willing, or even available to protect you, your family, your neighborhood, businesses, the city, or anything. So in San Francisco, Safeway food stores, it's kind of like a Piggly Wiggly or a Winn-Dixie or a Kroger or a Publix or something, it's a fucking food chain store. They have decided to take the law into their own hands by creating security devices to stop flash mob looting. Again, this isn't flash mob dancing in the square, it's flash mob looting. And what they've done is they put in security gates so that anyone leaving the store with shopping carts, they have to go through a single file line, and the gates, I guess, automatically lock when someone hits an alarm bell. And that's their answer, because the police are not responding. The police are not allowed to respond is probably more like it, because the law enforcement, or rather law and order, peace and justice type cops I know are like, dude, they should be arrested. That's all there is to it. If they're not arresting them, it's because they agree with their politics, or politics is stopping them. So, yeah, good cop, bad cop system that we have. San Francisco, bad cop system. Bad, cops are being told you can't do it. It's a bad cop system. Basically, it's without the rule of law. Once again, without the rule of law means you're going to have to protect yourself. It's becoming more and more apparent. You're not going to have an option, folks. You're not going to have a choice. Now, in Polk County, Florida, over that way, I think it's that way. Anyways, Polk County, Florida, they tell their residents, if someone kicks in your door, you blow them right back out the door. Okay, that's an instance where you are supposed to protect yourself, because law enforcement can't be there 24/7 protecting everyone's living room. There's two Americas, folks. There's extreme rule of law and there's without the rule of law. I did not think we would have both systems concurrently operating. I didn't think that, one, it was possible, because when first formulating these ideas years ago, in my mind and in your minds you were formulating, there was no concept of police won't do their job, or police will stand down, or Democrat mayors will stand down the police, and governors will say, no, there's no enforcing the law. That was never an option back then in the mind. What has become a political reality, which means it's become a legal reality, which means it is an unreasonable, unconscionably stupid reality, right? When it comes to lawful expectations. Well, here we are. Literally, here we are, folks. In Chicago, Mayor Beetlejuice Lightfoot. Yeah, her. She blames stores for the increase in crime. She just doesn't say, stores, you're on your own. You have to manage and maintain your own security. She's actually blaming retailers for the crime, meaning it's their fault because they don't hire security. They don't hire security, so therefore they're at fault. They're causing this. It's like, what? No, a lack of police response, a lack of prosecution. Why should police go arrest somebody for committing a crime if the district attorney, the prosecutors, don't prosecute them, or if they bring them into court and the judge throws it out or doesn't give them any sentence? What's the point of even arresting them? I mean, if I was a cop and they're like, okay, we want you to go in this bad neighborhood and arrest these bad guys, but don't worry, after you arrest them, they'll just be released the same day with, on no bail, right? $2 bail. That's the world you're living in, folks. How does it feel? Right? What are you thinking about that? You see, when I think about it, I'm like, okay, here we are. Now, where I'm at, law enforcement works. Well, it works in Polk County, too. It works in a lot of jurisdictions, law enforcement does it. But if, like every place, cops aren't everywhere. And they're going to take a minimum of 5 minutes to get there. Right? And up to 15, 20, 30 minutes to respond to an emergency call, folks. Because law enforcement gets overwhelmed. Frequently gets overwhelmed. It's not their fault. Right? They literally have lunatics running the streets now, folks. I've talked to a lot of emergency responders, EMTs, first responders, cops, about the homeless situation. And the homeless, half of them are whacked out on drugs. The same half that are whacked out on drugs are mentally deranged. They're screwballs. The other half choose to live that way, huh? That's what? This is what we got. This literally is what we have. So, and I've talked to a lot of people too. They're like, resources, public resources are constantly being used, time consuming. Law enforcement and everyone has to respond when every lunatic on the street, has a bad hair day. And so they're just not available. They're not available. Consequently, gotta play some merging 500. There we go. They are constantly being distracted. So who is going to protect you, folks? And SHTF is still SHTF light. We're still in SHTF light. It's not off the hook. It's not Mad Max. Unless it's your house having your door kicked in. And we've been talking about the potential for this happening, and yeah, it's happening now. Right? We had a story just the other day, another home invasion. These gangs are going to go from businesses, and then they're going to move into people's homes. They're going to kick in the door, home invasion. Now, unless you live in Polk County, right, or one like it, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time. A little bit of a hard time, right? For doing the very thing that the police are supposed to be doing for you, but by the time they show up, you're in trouble. So it's best now to make the decision. Be prepared ahead of time. If someone kicks in the door, what are you going to do? Answer the question. I answer the question for myself. Someone kicks in my door, I'm going to give them the Polk County Watusi. They're going to be dancing with figs. They're going to be having some troubles. Right? But if I decided not to do that, what would the consequences be? Right? I'd have my ass kicked. I'd be duct taped to a chair. I'd have the living shit beat out of me, tortured until I, give up all of my bank cards, I guess, and credit cards. Is that what would happen to me? Depending, I guess, on the sexual orientation of the people, I could be raped. You could be raped. We could all be raped. What? Who was it? Oh, it was Los Angeles. Los Angeles Police Department. Well, if someone invades your home, cooperate with the robbers. Don't try and protect yourself. Just cooperate with the bad guys. Because appeasement works really well. And actually, it doesn't, folks. Appeasement doesn't, it didn't work with Hitler. Appeasement hasn't worked with modern U.S. Democrat socialists. You cannot appease them. That is, you cannot make them happy. Cooperating with them only inspires them to be more demanding. It only encourages them to commit more negative behavior. That's the world we live in, folks. That's the world. It really is. That's the world we live in. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to react? How are you going to be prepared, both mentally and with the appropriate tools? We're getting there, folks. A lot of people keep asking, and I keep asking as well. I want to know. I really want to know, when is that time coming? Are we a week away? Are we a month away? Again, I don't know for sure, but I can tell you that it instantaneously is going to happen for many people when their doors are kicked in or their business windows are smashed. You know, they're sitting at their desk at their job. They got a 9-to-5, or it's not even your business, and someone smashes through and starts demanding you give them money, or they want to steal all the goods. When criminals are allowed to point blank commit crime, law enforcement says we can't do anything, and the mayor blames you. You're blamed. If you don't have enough locks on your doors and your hinges aren't heavy duty enough and your windows aren't bulletproof, then it's your fault. Thank you, Mayor Lightfoot Beetlejuice, for explaining to us how this really works. Folks, that's how this really works. When shit hits the fan, when it goes hot, it's up to you and you alone. Get prepared. I want to thank all of you for supporting the channel. Folks, we got a strike. The appeal was rejected. I will be here on the BC channel for 2 weeks. I think I'll be back over on the Prepared Mind on the 17th. And here we are, folks. This is how they want to play the game. I want to keep speaking. I want to tell you so much more, but I'm only allowed so much. And that's why those of you on Patreon, go to patreon.com. Go to the Prepared Mind on patreon.com, and you can see me, John, Roger, and a number of other people talking about what the hell is going on. But here, right, get prepared. Only you can prevent SHTF from, right, making you a victim. Hey, get prepared. Chance favors. Chance favors. The Prepared Mind is yours. Semper Fi. Godspeed.